Christine and the others who put this together, because our students are practicing empowerment. Our students are practicing what it is to be civic leaders and have civic engagement. And the voting is extremely important. The more we can get voters out there to vote according to their beliefs.
And thank you for having us. And first of all, is there anyone here who is not registered to vote who can register? If you are not, be sure and pick one of these up. And also, if you know someone who is not registered to vote who can register, take one for them. And I want to welcome the various candidates for the district, and I also want to invite them to be here Saturday for the Spring Fest, because the Spring Fest is a fundraiser for the foundation board can raise money for scholarships for the students attending here at Mission College. And the reason that I know that is because I have spent 5 years on the foundation board here at Mission College and was the past president of the foundation board. And the only day better than today are the days when I would be here giving out those scholarships to your fellow students who earn those scholarships. And those are individuals who are single mothers with children that are working, individuals that have, because of circumstances, their jobs have changed. And so at Mission College has always been a great member of the community. And I want to thank Daniel Campos, for the ASO president, for the work that he is doing. And you know, it's just a wonderful opportunity to be able to participate. And we heard from the current president, Monty Perez. While I was on the board, we have had 5 presidents at this school. We have come a long way. We have the highest number of student attendance. We have a lot of these projects that are going on. And so for the past 5 years, it's been my pleasure to be here working on your behalf as a volunteer.
And the 30th Congressional District against Brad Sherman and Howard Berman. I grew up in San Fernando Valley, right over here in Sun Valley. I went to Our Lady of Holy Rosary School. I went to Polytechnic High School, graduated from El Camino Real, and then went to Pierce College. I've owned businesses my entire life in San Fernando Valley. Actually out here in Reseda. I have a small ranch over here in Shadow Hills. I married my high school sweetheart, so it can happen for you guys. I actually met my wife when she was 11 years old in Our Lady of Holy Rosary. We married at 21 years. I'm 21 years old. I have 3 adult children and 7 grandchildren. This upcoming election is not about Republican or Democrat. It's really about you versus the ruling class. The ruling class is making it extremely difficult for you to actually survive. And you cannot look to the government to bail you out. It's up to you. You come to school, you go to work to do one thing. That's to become wealthy, self-independent, self-reliant. The government, through taxation and over-regulation, is making that near impossible for you when you graduate. These two incumbents that are in office now, over 30 years of reign, have created 17% unemployment in San Fernando Valley. There was 80,000 home foreclosures last year. There's 17 top-tier corporations leaving the state of California every month. One out of every...
This is John Alford. I work with Congressman Brad Sherman. Congressman Brad Sherman is currently the representative of the West Valley, and he has been for about the last 15 years. Congressman Sherman is a very unique congressman. He is somebody that's really wonderful to work for. He's sorry he couldn't be here today. He's actually doing his job. He's back in D.C. casting votes, trying to represent his district. Congressman Sherman thinks it's paramount to listen to his constituents. When I worked on the government side, every time he gets back into town, casting his votes, he asks everybody in the office, what's going on in the valley? What are people saying? What's important to the residents of the district? And that's the conversation that continues right up until the point that he goes back to D.C. to represent him. Congressman Sherman has made it imperative that he holds regular town hall meetings. He's had over 160 town hall meetings. He doesn't have to do this. There's nothing in the Constitution that says that he has to do this. It's important to him, though. So
Hello, Michigan. Congressional College. How are you? My name is Mike Powelson, Dr. Mike Powelson. It's okay, you can applaud. Americans have a hard time making noise about political debates. You should watch what they do in the British Parliament, for example. So if you want to heckle, go ahead. It's perfectly all right. I teach at Valley College, and I also teach out at Cal State Channel Islands. And I'm from Los Angeles. I spent my earliest years over in the Pico-Robertson, West Hollywood district, and then I moved over to the San Fernando Valley. And I did not go directly to college. I got jobs, and it's because of my work experience. I was a ditch digger, and I boxed clothes, and I became a journeyman carpenter, that I have a very strong appreciation for working in middle-class people and what they're having to go through. And I think most of the people here at Mission College are like that. And that's why I'm a member of the Green Party. And that's also why, as a member of the Green Party, because I believe in economic democracy and because I believe in environmental sustainability and social justice, I am a socialist, and I have no problem admitting that. All these other candidates here believe in one sense or another in the capitalist economic system. The reality is that the capitalist economic system has crashed and burned. The only reason it's being sustained now, as we know, is through massive government bailouts. So I would advocate that rather than bailing out the banks, we should have nationalized them, because I'm a socialist. I don't see any problem with doing that. As a socialist, I believe in full employment. I think everybody should have a job. There's no reason whatsoever why everybody cannot have a job. Capitalism requires unemployment. All these people are going to defend unemployment. Because I'm a socialist, I believe in peace. Look at the history of socialism. We were the ones that advocated no wars and the rights of women and others. And so you can ask me more questions about it in the question and answer period. But thank you very much.
Thank you guys for coming and showing an interest in politics. I really appreciate it. My name is Vince Gilmore. I'm a constitutionalist running at the Democratic Party in the 30th District. My platform is simple. I'm a strict constitutionalist and a protectionist. I believe in individual liberty, individual sovereignty, state sovereignty, and national sovereignty. And I don't even need the whole 2 minutes to introduce myself. I'd much rather hear your guys' questions. So thank you.
Good afternoon. I want to thank Mission College, the Associated Student Council, and anybody who was involved in this event for doing so. My name is Richard Valdez. I am a candidate for the 29th Congressional District, which is the east side of the San Fernando Valley. My wife happens to be a school teacher, and I happen to be a former student of Mission College, coming back as a candidate. I also am a member of Veterans for Peace. I am very pro-troops, but I'm not pro-war. I recognize the importance of having a strong military. But what we have right now is a misused and an overused military. You know, it's important to recognize what's going on in our communities and our country. A lot of businesses are going out of business. 40% of our small businesses are losing money. Teachers are being laid off by the thousands. The pre-K program, which both of my kids took advantage of, is being deleted. We never seem to have any money for school anymore. But somehow or another, we always come up with money for wars, for bailouts. We spent $100 billion bombing the heck out of Libya. I mean, Libya didn't even do anything to us. So what can we do? A couple things we can do. Number one, we need to nationalize the Federal Reserve, put the Federal Reserve underneath the control of the Treasury, mandate that it focuses monetary policy to help the American people, help small businesses, help students, instead of lending trillions of dollars to banks, to foreign countries at almost 0% interest rate. The other thing we need to do is do something about NAFTA. Because thanks to NAFTA, we have been the #1 exporter of U.S. jobs. And because our companies cannot compete with the third world countries with which laws on environment and laws and the regulations of the environment are just not there. I say we bring our troops home, put those trillions of dollars into our communities, and focus on the people. I am a no corporate money candidate, which means that any vote that I take will be a vote for the people, not a vote because I have to pay back some special favors or some special interest money. some special interest. Thank you. Richard Valdez for Congress.
Good evening. My young friends, thank you very much for being here this evening. Can you hear me in the back? Can you hear me? Thank you. I want to thank Mission College, first of all, President Perez, and everybody else for arranging this debate. Thank you for coming. I want to thank the candidates who are here. But I'm very pained because the people who should be defending their record, Brad Sherman, Howard Berman, they are not here. We had a debate last week in Pierce College, and they abstained from the debate. They really are not interested in serving you. They are only interested in serving themselves. That's why they were not here last week. That's why they are not here today. My name is Singh. I came to this country in 1974 with just $7 in my pocket. After serving my country of birth as a young army captain for 7 years, I came with $7. I was all by myself. I landed at JFK. Next day I had to get a job. I went up and down Queens Boulevard looking for a job, and nobody will hire me because I look different. Then I decided that I'm going to take just any job that came my way. The first job I had was selling vacuum cleaners door to door. And believe you me, I did so well in just 1 month that my first paycheck was $3,000. In this country, I'm reminded of Newt Gingrich, who mentioned in the presidential debates, take any job, master that job, do the job well. While you're doing that job, look for another job. Once your employer finds out that you have found another job, he's going to sit with you and he's going to beg you to stay with him because he knows you are indispensable. That's exactly what happened with me. My name is Singh. I'm running from District 30th and I'm running against Brad Sherman and Howard Berman. Thank you very much.
Hello, it's wonderful to be here at Mission College. My name is Shelley. I'm a candidate for Congress in the 30th District, running against Brad Sherman and Howard Berman. And I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you all for taking time out of your day to come. There are 2 things missing here today: jobs and the politicians who currently represent you. And I would suggest that there is a connection. They are taking you for granted. They are not listening to your concerns. They are making promises. They're not showing up. They're not delivering on their promises. And why is that? Because they think you'll vote Democratic no matter what. You want to get their attention? Change your party registration to Republican. Vote Republican. Go right over there and pick up some literature and change to the Republican Party. And even if you don't change your political views, you will get their attention. They will say, uh-oh. And the reason you should think about being a Republican is because economic growth is what provides the resources to pay for education and the safety net. You want those classes restored. You want those programs maintained. Economic growth creates the jobs and the taxpayers to fund it all. If we don't have economic growth, we have patch, patch, patch. A program to fix this problem, a program to fix that problem. Let's fix all the problems with jobs and economic growth. We need tax reform, we need affordable energy. We need to subject government regulations to an economic impact study so that we know what we're doing before we do it and not when it's too late. My name is Shelley. I hope to answer all your questions. I hope you'll visit my table and pick up some literature. And thank you very much for being here today.
Okay, thank you everybody for their introduction. We're losing some students here because they have to go to class, unfortunately. But that's good for them, right? I would like to ask everybody that has a question for our candidates, if you could please come forward. We'll give them one question at a time, and we'll give them each 1 minute to answer the question. So, anybody want to go first? By the way, this is baby Diana. She's here with me.
I hope I'm not excluding anyone. My question is for John. It's very pitiful that the elected leaders who represent this area never come east of the 405. Yes, Sherman has had 186 town hall meetings way over there in the west side. He's never come here where the Chicanos live. I don't know what he has. And he doesn't have even the respect to show up at this debate at Mission College. Why is it? Because we're a working class college? And don't give me this nonsense about Howard Berman being in Congress. Why did he attend all the other congressional debates and made sure he attended them, and here at Mission College, he gives us the finger and said, I'm not going to attend. It's a disgrace. And the people that you represent are the people who are the warmongers. Howard Berman and Sherman want us to go to war with Iran. And they want to use us as a cannon fodder. Because no Sherman or Berman are going to die in Afghanistan or Pakistan. It's going to be the Hernandezes, the Gutierrezes, all those people who are going to die for your oil. And you want us to go to war. And you want us to go to war for Israel, and you don't attack the problems of this country. All the unemployment here in the Northeast Valley is not being addressed. During all the time that Sherman has represented this area and Berman, we have gone down. Foreclosures, low educational rates, people out of work. He has done nothing about this problem. And yet the insult is to send you to try to answer these questions. You know, don't we matter? As Chicanos, don't we have any respect? It's an affront by you and Howard Berman to represent this district. The sooner you guys leave, the better for us.
Well, I appreciate the question. There's a few in there I'll try to address. The first one is, why is Congressman Sherman not here today? It's because Congressman Sherman shows up to work. There are votes to be cast today. Congress is in session. There was a scheduling problem with this being scheduled on the day that Congress was in session. We did the best we could. I'm here to represent them. Of course, I absolutely can't speak as well on every issue.
Backbone of this country, they always have been, and it's my believe very strongly, having worked in construction and in factory work, that immigrants are very much abused, and I would like to see that be brought to an end. They're abused in the way that they're treated even coming to this country. My own ancestors are from Europe. There was no restrictions when Europeans came to this country, and yet now there's walls that are built up at the border to restrict Mexicans and Guatemalans and Salvadorans. I think this is outrageous. We had an open border for many, many decades here between the United States and Mexico, and the economy flourished. Picking on immigrants is the wrong way to go, and all of the candidates, the Democrats or Republicans, they have varying degrees of views on this, but they seem to think there's an immigrant problem. There's no immigrant problem. The problem is in trying to exploit and abuse people from immigrant backgrounds.
I think the question was, why isn't Berman or Sherman here? Basically, they're both arrogant, and they basically don't care. They're just counting on people seeing the Democrat in front of their name and voting Democrat. And I'd like to point something out to say.
My name is Richard Valdez. 2 points that Eugene brought up was accessibility and wars. And yes, Howard Berman and Sherman have both voted for all these wars, and I don't even think people realize that it's it's costing us about $1 million per year per soldier to keep him in Afghanistan. With that $1 million per soldier, we could pay for the tuition of 200 students at a one-year state university. So why don't that's what we need to put our focus on education. As far as accessibility, the current congressman for my Maryland, the east side of the valley, I don't see too many of his town hall meetings. As a congressman, I plan to have many town hall meetings and make myself accessible. As far as why isn't Tony Cadenas here, I don't know. There was a debate scheduled for Shepherd of the Hill, which I was invited to and I accepted, and he declined. So far he's declined 2 debates. Hopefully there'll be a third one. Hopefully he's not afraid. Hopefully he's not afraid to debate him. And David as well.
My friend Eugene, I'm very grateful to you that in 2008, when I was running for Congress, he allowed me to put a big banner in the corner of his house. And Brad Sherman was very upset with him. Thank you for sticking with me. I will never forget that. Coming back to, we were talking about immigration. I'm a first-generation immigrant. Friends, I've been to 40 countries. When you go to an American embassy, anywhere in the world, there are lines and lines and lines of people who want to come to this country. This is the greatest country in the world. Trust me. Trust me. Even we are in a bad shape right now, because of our own foolishness, we are still the greatest country in the world. People look up to you. You can go to the embassy in Delhi now, at this time, there will be thousands and thousands of people standing there to come to this country. What we Republicans, we are not against immigrants. If Republican Party was against immigrants, I will never be in Republican Party.
But it's indeed a private corporation, and if elected to Congress, I would immediately introduce legislation to nationalize the Federal Reserve. It should be a government-controlled and transparent entity. It's our money. The way it's run now is a bunch of scam artists that manipulate the finances of this country to the benefit of a very small percentage of people. I've said before that I'm a socialist. Most of these individuals here would disagree with me. They don't consider themselves socialists. Well, we do have socialism in this country, except it's socialism for the super rich. They get all of the money, even though they in theory don't believe in capitalism. And the rest of us have to suffer under a capitalist system in which wages are declining, benefits, unemployment is through the roof. And one of the keys is our banking system. So I would support any bank that received a bailout would be nationalized. If a bank received a bailout, they fail in the capitalist economic system. When you fail, you're supposed to go out of business.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. The Federal Reserve, I like to call the Federal Reserve the corporation's corporation. None of these other banks could even survive without the Federal Reserve. And yes, they do have a monopoly on our money. It's not the American dollar, it's a corporate product that we're using for our transactions. So yes, the first thing I would do is move to abolish the Fed. We need full-scale investigations on that and how they've wasted our money. I mean, one of the few things that came out of the Dodd-Frank Act was that there was a partial mini inquiry into the Fed, $18 trillion to foreign and domestic banks. It's ridiculous. It's criminal and it's ridiculous. It's unconstitutional anyways. Congress is supposed to coin our currency and regulate our currency. The Federal Reserve is not Congress. It's a privately owned corporation. Like I said, it's the corporation's corporation. It needs to go. 98% of our dollar value has been gone since 1913 because of the Federal Reserve. It's not getting any better. It's only going to get worse.
So printing the money, right?
It's quantitative easing and measures like that that just destroy our dollar even worse.
I'm not going to take too much time because I already expressed that in my opening statement, to nationalize it, to mandate that it focuses monetary policy for the people, to help the people. I don't think people realize this, but the Federal Reserve lends trillions of dollars to these banks. These banks turn around and buy U.S. Treasuries at 2% interest rate. So when you're talking about trillions of dollars, what we have is like corporate bank welfare, where we're helping them and make all these billions of dollars. Estimate that they made at least over $15 billion in interest alone. So having said that.
My friend, Mike, I'm sorry to mention that to you. I know you're a very fond socialist, but I have to point it out that nobody from anywhere in the world is heading to France. Nobody from anywhere in the world is heading to Greece or fighting to get into Greece. Everybody is coming to the United States because of the system of government we have. In this country, everybody can flourish. I'm telling you, in this country, everybody can flourish. If I can't do it, you can do it. Everybody can do it. You just have to get an education, get any job, get a better job. Don't get married before you complete your education. If you get married, you stay married and work together. You will flourish. This is a beautiful country. Talking about the Federal Reserve Board, I wish we had the gold standard, but there is no gold standard. So some entity has to control the currency, and that's what the Federal Reserve is doing it. If they won't do it, the currency will even do that, even do worse.
But they're destroying dollars.
The Federal Reserve has a dual mission, and I would suggest to you they can't do either of them when they try to do both of them. The dual mission is to make sure we have a sound currency and no inflation, and the other part of the mission is to make sure we have full employment. And if you look at the numbers right now, you can see that they are failing on both counts. I would say that they should not have a mission to create full employment because they can't do it, and it creates too much incentive for political interference with what the Fed is trying to do. Sound currency should be the goal. That will keep the government from stealing your savings through inflation, which is what they're doing right now.
Hyperinflation.
I don't believe there's anybody in Congress more outspoken against the Federal Reserve than Ron Paul. And if Ron Paul has not been able to have that audit, has not been able to disband the Federal Reserve, nobody at this table will be able to do it. However, what he has been able to do is to bring it to the forefront, to educate, and to get the support from individuals who are running for office that will work with him to bring that into proper alignment. And so, to answer your question, I would be one of those congressmen that would work with him in order to either audit and eventually disband it.
Don't forget them in the Senate. They're roughly right.
Wonderful question that was posed, and Ron Paul does state it exactly, and I'm one of the candidates that Ron Paul's organizations that actually supports. It's actually on my website, exactly what's going on with the Federal Reserve. But your question is what do you do to reverse it? We need to go ahead and audit the Federal Reserve, exactly know what's going on. We need to go ahead and put us back on a gold standard. We need to go ahead and reverse the Emergency Powers Act in 1935. We need to go ahead and disband it. And you can't do it by looking at the forward from 1912 on this. We have to reverse every decision that's been made. Get the power of the money back to the Congress. One of the biggest things that we're facing within Congress is the fact of if you lie to Congress, you go to prison. Congress can lie to you all day long and nothing happens. Howard Berman and Brad Sherman continue to lie. And I think all of you understand the hypocrisies of Congress at this point, and that's why most people are discouraged with politics. Because a politician will stand up here and tell you exactly what you want to hear. Once they get to Washington, D.C., they do exactly what they want to do.
That's true.
Congressman Sherman has consistently been supportive of efforts to increase transparency